So here we are, part two of our kind of interview series with Sinitta Callman. For those who didn't see part Sinitta, butchering the French language. Sinitta is the internal talent manager here at Alexander Lloyd. She is the one responsible for hiring people, attracting people, our presence on social media, and kind of everything else. You know, it's a fantastic job. But in part one, we were talking about kind of companies coming out of COVID and hiring people, and how do they, you know, ensure that they look attractive to those prospective employees that are out there on the market. And we spoke about, you know, make sure you're backing everything up at interview in terms of examples of career progression. Make sure you give really specific answers to things like flexible working from home, what is your presence online, etc. Now today we're going to flip it and we're going to talk about searching for a job. And I think a lot of this is aimed at people either looking for a job now, or perhaps were looking for a job before COVID hits, they put their career search on ice. Hopefully we're coming to the end of COVID, or at least the end is in sight, so they might restart the search. So there's a lot of people out there in the market, even for the pensions market. You know, for us, it's always kind of candidate short. I suppose it's quite similar to the recruitment market for you, Sin, where there might be loads of people, but it's a case of finding the good ones, you know, and working with, you know, really good talent out there. So if you are someone that is trying to separate yourself from the crowd, you know, try and make sure that you get noticed, try and make sure that your CV, your application, you know, does get picked up. Yeah. What's the starting point? How do you start, you know, with a search going down that kind of line?
I mean, the first thing I would say is when applying for jobs, I think back in the day, we all just had one generic CV and then just throw it out there and off you go. We'll call me that. But now, yeah, literally. But you have to tailor your CV to every job you're applying for. And I know that might seem time consuming, but, you know, if you're looking for a job, you should really put that effort in now. Look at the job description of that role and then show your transferable skills on your CV to say, right, I've done that. Let me put that on my CV. That alone will just help you a little bit more. Keywords in your top bit, just to make sure you know that if they are searching, your CV is highly more likely to come up in their search. Saying you're open to work on LinkedIn. Even connecting, if you can find out who the hiring manager is, connect with them on LinkedIn. You don't have to be like freaky and stalkerish and message them or anything, but even just connecting so your name pops up is fine. Interacting with that business on LinkedIn, liking the things that they're posting, even commenting on those things that they're posting out there. So again, your name is sort of popping up. I mean, the market is very saturated at the moment with candidates. And so if you want to sort of, you know, stand out, have some sort of relationship to start with, just get out there, message them, add them, do what you can to hopefully get your name out there a bit more than other people.
Yeah, great point about tailoring the CV, because I remember being told this, you know, back when I kind of left uni and you know, you print off your CV and you sling it out and you know, I think that was back in the days where you could walk into a shop and leave it at customer services. You know, you can't do that anymore. And I remember thinking that's so much effort. Like, does that really matter? And I think the 10 and a half years that I've spent in recruitment, it really does. Even if it's, yeah, like you say, even if it's just a couple of key bullet points on your CV, look, you know, it's that kind of, hey, look at me, I've done this. You could even reference the job spec. You know, you could do that in a cover letter, you could do that in a CV. Your job spec says you need X. I've done it. This is what I've done. This is a key example. You know, you could, and you've only got to do that for kind of 2 or 3. You know, if you've got a job spec of 10, you could probably just do 2 or 3, and that'll be enough to get someone's attention. I think that's what it comes down to. You know, so many CVs are being thrown about. You know, I shared a status on LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago. It was a little case study that I did, and at the end, after a week, I think it was a week, 8 days maybe, for the job being live, I got 174 applications. One. And, you know, don't get me wrong, that person had a great CV, you know, stuck out like a sore thumb. The person who ended up getting the job was someone that we already knew, which was actually amazing. But it's mad how many applications are going in. So you want to get your CV noticed, and the first thing you can do to get that is, here's a job spec, is almost kind of plagiarized what you're saying in the job spec is in the CV, because this is what I've done. How can you not at least scroll down the CV? How can you not interview me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Almost make it, don't lie, but almost make it kind of too good to be true in a way. You know, you want to back it all up with that kind of evidence, black and white, and then take it to the next stage.
I even think it's quite good to get involved with recruitment consultants, because I think sometimes having that middleman that can contact the client on your behalf, that can sell you a little bit more than just your CV, is actually a really great way to get you out there a bit more. So I say that to any of my friends or family that come to me saying I'm looking for a job. I'm like, contact recruitment consultants and companies that are specific to the area that you're focusing on and looking to recruit into, and see if they can help you, give you some advice, get you in contact with some of the companies you'd preferably want to work for, and go from there.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we're very proud of being able to offer. And this isn't a video to kind of sell us. So anyone who's thinking of switching off, please don't. This isn't a call Tom now or you'll never get a job ever again. You know, that's not the idea of this. But you're right. You know, if you apply online, for example, your CV will go in the mix, but it might go into a very big mix. If you speak to a recruiter, we might just be able to get you your CV in front of the right person, whether that's HR, whether that is the hiring manager directly, you know, just someone that we can actually say, look, here's someone who's nailed on, you know, and it just kind of almost gets you to the front of the queue sometimes. It may not be enough to get the job, but it should be enough to at least get your CV noticed. And again, that's, you know, I've always kind of viewed our job as being a case of, well, we get you the interview, you get the job. So if we can get your CV noticed and ultimately set up a conversation, you know, we've almost done our part. You know what I mean? Not quite, but almost. So, and I love your comment about using LinkedIn. I think this is something that I cannot say louder. You know, so many people that I've spoken to who are really, really keen to secure a new role, really active on certain job sites, and you know, they all work, you know, for whatever. Most of the time, when it comes to some of the, you know, the read and the total jobs, and there are plenty available. But I'll speak to that same person that won't have a profile on LinkedIn, or the profile is so basic, you know, and that's not, you don't want that anymore. You want to, like you say, interact with the firm you want to work with, interact with the hiring manager. Like you just said, you don't have to send them a message, you don't have to be a stalker. But you could just connect with them. You could connect with a little message saying, hi, I've just applied to this job, wanted to reach out and say hello. You know, on LinkedIn especially, most adverts will say who's recruiting for it. You know, and it could be the internal recruiter, it could be the HR representative. You know, you could even search in that company to find who you think. You can make an educated guess as to who the hiring manager is. So you could almost do the official application, and then the unofficial message, hi, I've just applied to your head of pensions job, you know, just wanted to say hello and connect. And, you know, like you say, it just kind of gets you noticed a little bit more. Yeah.
And also think about how your actual LinkedIn looks. So your profile picture, asking for recommendations, having endorsements, even just showing a bit of personality and, you know, your opinions and things like that all over your LinkedIn is a really great insight into what you are like as an individual. And if anything, I think it takes it further than a CV ever could. So you really should think about what your presence looks like online also.
Yeah, definitely. I think, a CV can almost look quite clinical, can't it? It can almost look very, you know, this is me and this is business me and this is straight and narrow me. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I'm not saying bring the personal world into your work, you know, particularly you, Sinitta, you know, we know how much you like gin, you know, but LinkedIn is also, it is a social network. It is social, you know, there is an opportunity, like you say, card some personal posts, you know, share an experience, have people write recommendations. The recommendations, this is something that I've been saying quite a bit lately. The recommendations doesn't just have to be from like your boss. You know, it could be from a friend, it could be from a colleague, it could be from someone who you actually only really interacted with every now and again, but you had a great rapport with, and you delivered on an excellent project 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Would you mind writing me a recommendation? You know, and again, we do it. You know, how many times have you done it? Someone applies to a job for us. Where's the first place you're going to look to find information about?
Straight over on the LinkedIn. Straight. Yeah.
You know, so if your LinkedIn's kind of a bit boring and has got no info on it, you're doing yourself a disservice. Likewise, if you've gone too far away, you could be really shooting yourself in the foot. Yeah, it's just kind of having that kind of awareness. You're open to kind of making sure that you're open to opportunities on LinkedIn, and there's still quite a few people that don't know that you could do this. You can indicate on LinkedIn that you are open to work.
Literally,
yeah, you know, and then we get notified every morning. You know, we get notified who has, you know, kind of ticked that box in the last 24 hours, and we're like vultures. You know, we're going to be straight on it. So again, if you've indicated that last night, you know, you then kind of sit down at LinkedIn, you're thinking, oh, I've got to spend 4 hours trawling through all the vacancies and connecting with this person. You might just have a message from someone like me saying, let's have a chat, you know, and then we can always cut out a lot of that legwork. Like I say, this isn't designed to be a big sell on us, but I think it is a sell towards maybe recruiters, or even just flicking that switch in general, because, you know, organizations have people looking for a key skill set. And the moment that you indicate you're open to a new role, that organization is going to be on you. And again, it just kind of cuts out a lot of the laborious stuff, and it gets you noticed, which is what we're obviously saying the whole idea is, isn't it?
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
So, all right. So that's that. So this is how we're going to apply for jobs on LinkedIn. I'm a massive believer in networking. I think this is where LinkedIn is an absolute gold mine. If you are looking for a job, you might want to keep under the radar, you know, which is fine, completely understandable. You want to keep under the radar. It is a small world. Recruitment, particularly local recruitment to us in Crawley, you know, we all kind of know everyone in a way. Yeah. The pensions industry, the benefits industry is very much a small world. Yeah. So if you want to keep a low profile, keep a low profile. But if you don't, if you're out of work and you're happy to put yourself out there, you need to be messaging people that you've worked with before. You know, previous colleagues, what are they looking for? Is their boss recruiting? Is a separate department recruiting? Could be in their best interest, because that organisation might have a referral scheme. You know, there's some referral schemes that I've heard about. You know, that'll pay £1,000, £1,500, £2,000. Yeah. They could, you know, it saves them money because they don't have to pay me, which is a shame, but then, you know, it saves them money, and you've made your mate a bit of cash because they'll get the bonus, and you've got yourself in, you know, almost ahead of the queue in a way. So if you're not doing that, that's madness. And again, you must see it a lot, Sin. You must see people kind of approaching you saying, oh, I spoke to so-and-so who used to work with so-and-so who said it'd be worth having a conversation. And it just,
I literally I actually interviewed someone this week who had said, mentioned Alexander Lloyd as a good place, has said to contact me and have a chat about the role. And she actually knows my husband. So she used to work with my husband, knows that he works at Alexander Lloyd. So it's literally as simple as that. Now the girl's got a second interview with us, and it was all just from someone saying, go have a chat with them. So like you said, I mean, my sister has just recently started a new role, and it was purely just that she literally messaged someone on LinkedIn saying, seen this role being advertised in your HR department, we're interested in having a chat. And they were like, oh, connect with me, referred my sister, and now she's been in the job now, I think, 2 months and loving it. So I think networking is huge. We don't do it enough. I think sometimes people panic a little bit about asking friends or family, but it's the easiest way to do it. You should definitely be networking and seeing what's out there through that.
Especially seeing as your friends and family want to help. You know, if someone asks me, can you put in a good word for me, or, you know, to Sinitta or to another team within Alexander Lloyd? Yeah, of course. You know, not just for the referral fee, not just for the money, but because, well, I think it's a great place to work. I think you'd be a great fit. Yeah, of course. I'd be a fool not to. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's there's a little bit of an ego thing. I think there's a little bit of a pride thing where perhaps you don't want to reach out for help, but please, please do. And it's like I said, it doesn't have to be to a recruiter. It doesn't have to be some elaborate status like, oh, please help me or anything like that. It could just be 10, 15, 20 messages to some former colleagues saying, hi, do you mind writing me a recommendation? Oh, do you know if you guys are recruiting? Would you mind putting me into, I've seen this role online, appreciate it's not your department, but could you put in a good word? That good word, it's got so much weight. It really, really does. And if you're doing it, you will see the benefits.
Especially because we're talking about standing out. What better way to stand out than someone already in the business saying, I actually know someone who potentially could be good for this role?
Yeah, no, I had a conversation with a friend the other day, completely different sector. It's got nothing to do with me, nothing to do with Alexander Lloyd, who just mentioned, do you know someone who would be after this kind of role? He was like, yeah, I do, actually. You know, it's another friend of mine. Tell you what, send me the link. I'll put you guys in touch. You know, I don't want anything for it. I'm not, you know, it's not my sector. I'm not chasing a fee here. It's just okay, you, there you go, get talking, off you go, see you later. Yeah. You know, and it's hopefully that'll pan out. And if it does, you know, maybe they'll buy me a nice bottle of whiskey. I've said it now, and I'm not going to say their names, but they'll watch this. They'll be like,
massive hint.
They'll be like, oh, for God's sake, I've got to buy it. Yeah. So no, that's great insights, Sin. Thank you very much. Hopefully we'll do some more of these. And again, you know, I don't want to flood LinkedIn too much with videos, particularly of my face, my clean shaven face recently. But yeah, hopefully we'll do some more. Hopefully it's helped. If there is anyone out there that's watching this that wants to have a conversation, if you work in recruitment, give Sinitta a shout. If you work in the pensions and benefits industry, give me a shout, or the team. And if you don't work in either, that's absolutely fine. Happy to connect, happy to have a conversation and see what we can help. But thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Until next time.